green car with its white flashes, Andrew Devaney on pole position. The blue and white car is Nick Croydon-Fowler alongside. It's a good start from Nick Croydon-Fowler, who propels himself into the lead of the race, but as they shift up through the gears, Andrew Devaney through the second phase gets a much better run away. Problems for Gareth Hunt, who is going to retire straight away at the wheel of the number 7 car from the sharp end of the grid, but it's Andrew Devaney that leads. Nick Croydon-Fowler's there in second position, and it's Daniel Budd, the pink machine, that's up into third place, freshly back from his big accident at Thruxton last time out, with 3 wide further down through the order, as Darren Thomas is looking to try and hang on to fourth place. However, Tom Sanderson has other ideas, and Daniel Budd is running very wide and onto the grass, and that good start has all come undone rather for the pink machine. Downhill and in towards Graham Hill Bend. It's all very tight indeed. Daniel Budd makes contact with Tom Sanderson, which takes out Darren Thomas. Onto the grass goes Leon Whiteman in avoidance as well. Darren Thomas facing the wrong way. The pink machine of Daniel Budd is only now rejoining the circuit, and that was just too many drivers looking to try and make up too many places in the early stages.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what happened there. Daniel Budd had such an amazing start, whether he's just frustrated because he went absolutely tearing down and wasn't even going to stop, and he didn't use his brakes. He used the other cars to stop him going into Graham Hill Bend, and it doesn't look like it's done his car any good, does it? No. It sits there stationary.
It has. It's come back off the grass but onto the tarmac and has now stopped, sadly, in the middle of the circuit, and that does not look good at all. Andrew Devaney leads the race in the early stages. Up to second, though, is Spencer Wanstall, as the safety car is heading out of pit lane rather than the back entrance to the paddock area.
So that's because it had only just come down the pit road.
He had at the start of the race, yeah, so he's not caught the race leader, but he will stop at the top of Paddock Hill Bend. Right, and in typical fashion, just as that happens, the stricken car of Daniel Budd is able to get going, so it will be a safety car period, albeit, I hope, a fairly brief one. So we were hoping this would all go to plan, weren't we?
Yeah.
How foolish were we?
Yeah, yes. I think that's more to the point, is that you've got to love our cute optimism, eh? That's what I go with.
So the safety car has picked up one of the cars, but it's not picked up the race leader. There's a couple of cars that will need to wave
by. The safety car is going slow, trying to get the car behind it to go past, but it's not doing that. Unless it's just going slow to catch the rest of the pack, but that would surprise me to some extent, and it's a shame because that car could and should be waved through, because it wasn't its fault that it came out when there were still cars coming round.
No, it will be waved through. It's just, I think the safety car will wait until sort of the pack of cars arrive. So the clock's still continuing to tick whilst this is going on. 17 and a half minutes of the race still to go. Andrew Devaney leads under safety car conditions here at Brands Hatch, the treble former champion. It's now waved the cars through. Yeah, it's got one more to wave through. Number 5, Spencer Wanstall, is second. Number 94 is third, which is Lee Roberts. Well, Lee Roberts started down in 11th position on the grid and is running in third at the moment.
And that one that is just waved through, Steve Hopper, 38, that was one that span at Surtees.
Surtees on the first lap, yeah, absolutely. He'll be hopping mad, won't he, Stephen? Fourth at the moment is a leading S-Class car, which is Scott Kendall. Fifth is number 777, which is Nick Croydon-Fowler. And completing the top 6 is Julian Proctor. So that's the order of the top 6 under safety car here at Mini Festival 2018 Brands Hatch. And now we will see that the safety car has indeed now picked up the race leader, Andrew Devaney. So are we going to see it do one more lap before it heads into the pit lane? That would be the sensible thing, because the train behind it isn't fully formed, is it, at all as yet?
And it's a bit late to suddenly turn the lights off, I suspect. So just the one more. Last time round, Spencer Wanstall did the fastest lap of the race, 1:14.491, because they were under the safety car, and they haven't really been able to get a flying lap in yet, have they? So just funny to see that that's the fastest lap.
That's the slowest, fastest lap we've had today.
So, interestingly, so I lost track of where did Croydon-Fowler lose his positions then?
I'm not entirely sure.
Because we were so busy focusing on everything happening down there, weren't we? We missed where Croydon-Fowler lost his places, but to be sat there in 5th.
Yeah, Scott Kendall, the blue machine with the pink roof, picked his pocket, took the place up, which is 4th place in the leading S-Class car. Scott used to compete in the Mighty Minis Championship, didn't he, before he's moved over?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, you say that. Yeah, I can remember that being the case, yeah.
So, lights remain on the safety car currently. The train isn't fully formed as yet. We've still got 3 stragglers that haven't sort of made it onto the back of the train as yet. One of which is Stephen Hopper. The other of which is going to be kind of a 722, which is Jack Shearing, I think. and that's the white car, and then the pink machine, which is Daniel Budd. So the lights should go out on the safety car as it heads onto the Cooper straight this time through, because the circuit would appear to be clear. Lights are still on as it disappears out of our view midway along the Cooper straight, and as it reappears out the other side, they're gone. So we're ready to go racing at the end of this lap. Don't forget, a mixture of cars out there on wet and on dry tyres. Andrew Devaney, who leads, is on a wet treaded tyre. Spencer Wanstall, I'm guessing, has gone for wets as well, because he's picked his way up through the order, and one would imagine probably that the number 94 car, such as the progress that Lee Roberts has made, has also gone for that wet compound of tyres. So the safety car is in, Chris. We're about to get things back underway with 14 and a half minutes to go.
We are indeed, and I think this safety car period has helped the cars that are out there on wets, because it means they've eaten into their time for this race without the track actually drying out. So good news for them at the moment. Off they go. Green flag is taken, and it's Devaney that is in the lead in number 77. But Spencer Wanstall going towards the outside, and he looks like he's got that job done before they even get to the apex. What a fantastic move. Did anybody tell him there was a right turn there?
Now Spencer Wanstall leads the race. He's not had a win so far this year. Spencer Wanstall, Andrew Devaney sitting there in second position now, and as they head up towards Druids, Wanstall sort of what? You what?
Just heading up Druids, up Hellwood's Hill.
Right, okay. I see that one. Yeah, I missed that one. I was looking at them coming out of Graham Hill Bend, where Spencer Wanstall gets very sideways indeed. Andrew Devaney, lots of arm twirling. That's going to cost him a position, because number 94, which is Lee Roberts, is able to squeeze his way through. So Lee Roberts now moves up into second position. Lee, we've not even seen inside the top 6 so far this year. I think his best finish is a 7th position. And off has gone Lee Roberts, just as I say that, made contact with the barriers, and that puts him out of the race by the look of things, because it was quite a hefty bang into the barriers, that one. Very tricky conditions.
See that Billison's was quite a hefty hit into the barriers. He lost it going down, exiting Paddock Hill, and Robson lost it there, so it's still tricky. Are those two potentially on slicks out there risking it? I think it's still a bit tricky for that at the moment, isn't it? But through goes Spencer Wanstall. Devaney, look at this, 3 wide we're going in towards Paddock Hill, and whoever that is, I think that's is that the 45 black and gold car?
That's Leon Whiteman, isn't it?
It's just thrown it up the inside, didn't even bother braking, and it worked. He somehow was able to make up a handful of positions there, as the leaders, you can see that they're taking the wide line at the moment on the wets, trying to make sure they're getting on the sections of the circuit that have got as much marbles on it as possible to give them that extra grip.
Yeah, Spencer Wanstall leads. Andrew Devaney from Scott Kendall, that's the top 3. Julian Proctor is now up into what is 4th position. Great fight though going on for 5th place. The cork in the bottle is Joe Thompson. He's got Leon Whiteman right behind him, then Tom Sanderson, so Leon Window, Nick Croydon Fowler, Steve Trench, and another car which I can't quite pick out. I think that might be the car off the back of the grid. Robert Pearson are all absolutely together. That's a good little fight that's going on as they thread their way over the start-finish line. The lead advantage was just over a second at the start of the lap. Spencer Wanstall this time through posts the fastest lap of the race, and the gap comes out to 1.7 seconds.
It's good to see, though, that the number 8 car of Joe Thompson's out there, because, of course, he pulled over during qualifying on the exit of Graham Hill Bend into retirement with a mechanical issue. Got that sorted, and I don't think he's a cork in a bottle anymore, because he's suddenly closed in on the back of the 95 car of Julian Proctor, albeit that he's taken with him the Whiteman car that is absolutely flying in these conditions. And, in fact, Thompson's having another look at the back of the orange car of Proctor. But as they come down towards Graham Hill Bend, he's made sure that door's closed and there's no real gap for him to throw it up the inside. So he's definitely not a cork in the bottle anymore, is he? No,
we've got a great fight going on for the final podium spot in Mini 7S class as well. Andy Dickinson under pressure from the white car with its blue roof of Thorburn Aston as they turn their way in towards a left-hander at Graham Hill Bend. All of the time whilst our overall race leader, Spencer Wanstall, is sort of walking away with this one. New fastest lap of the race last time through was 1 minute 6.997. It's likely to be fastest lap after fastest lap after fastest lap as the circuit conditions now start to improve once more. New fastest lap again, 1 minute 6.838. The gap comes out to 2 seconds between first and second. Over the start finish line now goes Julian Proctor, who is under attack from race winner from earlier on this season. Joe Thompson took his first ever win in the Mini 7 Challenge, and he can't quite pick the pocket of the man from Somerset that time through. It's the orange car that still just hangs on to it. Now Joe Thompson is under attack from the car right behind, which is the number 45 car of Leon Whiteman,
who's actually gone already past him and is now now alongside Proctor. It's just incredible. He's not even bothering to brake when he gets into these corners. He definitely heard your advice heading up towards Druids of use the hill as your brake rather than the pedal, and he's just made up both of those positions in one fell swoop. What an incredible couple of corners by him.
Yeah, he's clearly got the right tyre underneath him at the moment, but as the race wears on and the circuit conditions change, it might not be the right tyre at the end of the race. And Joe Thompson side by side with Julian Proctor round through Surtees. They sort of almost lean on each other. Proctor's got the inside line now as the circuit flicks from a left-hander to a right-hander at McLaren and on towards Clearway's corner. And Joe Thompson's trying to power it all the way around the outside, and by the look of things has made it stick as well. We know that Joe Thompson is on a wet tyre, and at the moment, certain parts of the circuit, that seems to be the right tyre, but I'm not sure for the whole of the lap it quite works, the wet tyre.
Well, Spencer Wanstall's just put in a new fastest lap of the race, so he's still trying to stretch his legs. He's got that to over 2.5 seconds now is the lead over Devaney, but Devaney's really having to fight hard to keep Kendall behind. The 708 car, although suddenly looks as though maybe made a little mistake on the exit of Druids and has dropped back, because certainly Kendall was lapping a little bit quicker. Then it's a long gap before we get to Whiteman, the 45 car. But now that Whiteman's up into that fourth position, already pulling away from the rest of the field, but it's a big old gap to make up, nearly 6.5 seconds.
There's a good little fight going on for a position further down towards the bottom of the top 10. Leon Window at the wheel of the number 0 car in 7th place. He's got Tom Sanderson right behind him. We're side by side behind those two, which is Steve Trench going wheel to wheel with Robert Pearson. Robert Pearson has to take to the grass in avoidance, rejoins, no harm done, as over the start finish line has already gone our race leader. Another new fastest lap of the race for Spencer Wanstall, the 1 minute 6.216. Well, if you bear in mind that qualifying pace saw these cars circulating 7 seconds quicker, it still goes to show how slippy it is out there.
Yeah, another new fastest lap of the race to Spencer Wanstall, though, so he's still trying to push it as much as he can, isn't he? Even though he's got that great big lead. It's over 3 seconds, but we've got 8 minutes 20 still left to go, so I guess he just can't take that risk, especially if, as you were saying, if he's on wets at the moment, he needs to take advantage while the conditions are as they are, and worry about it once it dries out, assuming it will dry out, and his tyres aren't going to be optimum by that point.
Yeah, I'm only guessing he's on wets at the moment because of the way he came up through the field in the early stages, but of course the circuit now is showing there is a slightly drier line. It's still wet all the way round, but just certain patches of it that look that little bit drier now, which may well mean that with still 8 minutes of the race to go, we'll wait and see as to whether lap times on those cars we know that are on wets, the likes of Andrew Devaney and Darren Thomas and Joe Thompson, whether they start to drop off or not at all. Spencer Wanstall now then into the 1 minute 5 second bracket, 1 minute 5.915, 3.2, almost 3.3 seconds is the advantage he has over Andrew Devaney in second place, with the leading S-Class car, number 708 of Scott Kendall, still sitting there in third place. 4th, 5th and 6th is still Leon Whiteman, Joe Thompson and Julian Proctor, and the best of the fights at the moment is 7th backwards, isn't it? Car number 19, the black car of Tom Sanderson, with Leon Window, Steve Trench and then Robert Pearson all together.
Yeah, Sanderson managing to get the better of Window this time round, and leader already turning left at Surtees. Devaney's managed to see off the challenge from the car behind him, the 708 car of Kendall, Scott Kendall, who started down in 10th, so great job to be up there in 3rd. More importantly for him, leading the S-Class, but Devaney was under growing pressure on that car. He's managed to take that over 1.25 seconds now, so he looks like he's in control, but he just hasn't really got an answer for Spencer Wanstall, has he?
No, not at this stage at all. Stephen Hopper, after his spin, is now making his way back up through the field. He's got himself ahead of the two cars that are still squabbling over the final podium place for the Mini 7 S-Class. That's the blue and orange number 779 car in the hands of Andy Dickinson, who's still got shadowing him Thorburn Aston, not too far away, as they head down to the bottom of the Cooper straight and pop the car in towards the left-hander at Surtees before it sweeps right at McLaren and on towards Clearway's corner. So watch out for that little fight. And as for the fight just outside of the top 6, number 19 Tom Sanderson is still trying to make sure that the white and grey car, number 0 of Leon Window, remains behind him.
You would think that someone was telling fibs if they said it had rained today. Now look at the sunshine beaming through again, so it's clearing itself back up again, which is good news for the cars. They're not going to have to suddenly deal with their conditions changing yet again, but these guys have had it in the most challenging time of it, where they had to make a decision before out, and frankly it is good for the start. It is going to change by the end, but how much by? Well, at the moment Spencer Wanstall's just making sure that it's in his control. 5.5 minutes left to go, 12 laps now completed. No improvement that time round, so we'll now have to keep an eye out to see how it compares. In fact, Devaney lapped slightly quicker that last time round in second place.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on that one. What does Joe Thompson do that time? He is on his wet tyres, still lapping that a little bit quicker. We've had a change for the final two places inside the top 10, because now Robert Pearson, number 84, has got himself ahead of the light green 69 machine in the hands of Steve Trench. So that's a shuffle for 9th and 10th positions, just heading up towards Paddock Hill Bend now. The blue and white car ahead of the lighter green machine in the hands of Steve Trench. Our race leader already safely along the Cooper Straight and heading up towards Surtees Corner. We've still got 5 minutes of the race to go. 12 laps have been completed. The lead advantage a couple of laps ago was, 3.7 seconds. It's now down to 3.5. So that's the gap we need to keep an eye on, because we know Andrew Devaney in second position is on wet tyres. And we'll just see as to whether his lap times start to drop off a little bit as the circuit dries. Wait for the arrival of our race leader over the start-finish line. There he goes. He's going to have traffic to deal with before too much longer, which is going to be the number 722 Mini 7S class car of Jack Shearing, having his first race with us.
Yeah, no problem. Spencer Wanstall's back to posting new fastest lap of the race. Quite incredible to see that Nick Croydon-Fowler, the 777 car, down to 11th place. That really hasn't worked out there.
And retiring is Lee Roberts by the look of things. He had sort of that off and into the barriers where we thought that we wouldn't see any more of him, but he has now retired the number 94 car at the bottom of Graham Hill Bend. He's pulled it well and truly out of harm's way. New fastest lap of the race goes the way of number 45, Leon Whiteman, with a 1 minute 4.793. Now, he was the first of the cars on the grid for which we didn't definitively know which compound of tyre he'd started on.
Well, judging from how he was able to charge through the field early on, I would say wets, which is interesting. It means there's still some life.
Working, yeah,
they're still okay at the moment. We're going to see them starting to edge onto wet parts of the circuit, I think, because we're getting to a dry line starting to appear. I mean, I guess the element is, it's not as if these are big tyres that are clearing the water out very quickly.
No, it's quite a small little narrow tyre, isn't it? They've been using Dunlop tyres for a great number of years, and well, we've now only got 3 minutes to go, so with the sun coming out it will dry the surface, but I don't think so much that the dry shod cars are going to then have too much of an advantage towards the tail end of the race. All of the harm was done when the circuit was rather damp, to say the least. The gap between first and second is coming down. It was 3.7 seconds between Spencer Wanstall and Andrew Devaney. It's now just down to 3 seconds.
Yeah, both Devaney and Whiteman in 45. They've both gone down into the 104s, as has Sanderson in the 19 car, the jet black car, actually. So that means he's pulled away from Leon Window, and he's now trying to hunt down the number 8 car. Although he's got an awful lot to do as he comes down the hill towards it. He's got a lot to make up there. Is that back marker that he's fighting with at the moment? No, that's Proctor,
that's
isn't it?
Proctor, yeah.
Sorry, that was the car that he was chasing down, and he's just managed to pass that one. So I wonder what Sanderson's on, because that car is absolutely flying.
He's on dry tyres.
Really?
Yeah. He's on dry tyres, yeah.
Okay, so that tells me something, because he is absolutely flying out there without question.
Yeah, over the start-finish line goes Spencer Wanstall. 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go as he came over the start-finish line. Well, he's lapping in 1 minute 5 at the moment, so he is more than likely heading on to his penultimate lap of the race this time through.
Yep.
Depends how quick he is this lap as to whether he can squeeze another one out in reality in these drying conditions. He leads by 2.9 seconds, so again, it just comes down by a shade.
103.890 now for the 19 car of Sanderson. So that dry tyre shod car is now coming into its own. It's just going to be too late, isn't it? Like 2 laps left. Well, 3 if we include the last lap of it coming into its own. Too much to ask for that car now.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, if had it been a 25-minute race rather than the 20, it could well be a very different story in this one. But it looks as though Spencer Wanstall is potentially heading towards his first victory of the season. We've seen him have a couple of seconds. He took a second at Snetterton. He took a second at Thruxton, a couple of fourths at Pembrey. We saw him at 5th at Snetterton. And at Zandvoort last time out, he was also in 5th place. But he's not stood on the top step of the podium so far this year, and is now, by the look of things, only 1 lap away from that. He might actually, such is the pace improving, he might squeeze one more out of this one, because Spencer's just done his best lap of the race so far. Leon Whiteman has just posted the overall fastest lap of the race so far at the wheel of car number 45 at 1 minute 3.738. Now, Depends really how quickly Spencer Wanstall is on this one. And the final podium place in S-Class still absolutely together. Andy Dickinson, no let up in the pressure from Thorburn Aston, nose to tail as they head through Surtees.
Yeah, absolutely. It's mighty close. Still 103s for Whiteman, and I've lost track where everybody is now. They just the sun's now beaming. It's a bit harder. Thank you, Kane. At least you're watching. You're glued to it. That's what I like to see, where the drivers are absolutely glued to it here. As we wait for Wanstall to come through, and it's going to worry down to the last 13, 12, 11, 10. So I think he's just about going to seek through as Spencer Wanstall, car number 5. That looks slow. Through 3 seconds.
He got one in,
yeah. As you suspected, that was mighty close. So it is going to be an 18-lap race, and Devaney is 1.7 behind. So that really is disappearing somewhat, isn't it, to say the least? And in fact, heading up towards Druids, that was visibly disappearing the whole time up there. Keep an eye out now for the pale green and white car closing in. The car just ahead of it on the circuit, that is Spencer Wanstall, the leader.
It is, yeah. They've got Stuart Gilby that they need to deal with, as well as Spencer Wanstall. He carves his way past Stuart Gilby. The next of the cars he's going to want to work his way through and pass is Kelvin Edgar's S-Class car number 747. He's not going to get that done before they head up towards Surtees corner. Through the left-hander at Surtees goes Spencer Wanstall. Is he going to squeeze his way past Kelvin Edgar? Yes, he does, as they head through the right-hander at Clearways, and then up towards the conclusion of the lap. It does look as though it is going to be a first win of the season for Spencer Wanstall in round 9 of the 2018 Dunlop Mini 7 Challenge, supported by Mini Spares. Onto the start-finish line, the checker flag flies. Spencer Wanstall claims the win and punches the air with delight. Andrew Devaney comes through in second position. It's going to be Scott Kendall in third place, the leading S-Class car home. Leon Whiteman, number 45, chased him to the line. There was just a couple of tenths behind as he finishes in 4th place. 5th place goes away of number 8, which is Tom Sanderson. Is Joe Thompson. 6th place for number 19, which is Tom Sanderson. 7th place will go the way of number 95.